Just seen one of my mates yet. He looks like Will Farrell, crazy. There we are then, guys. So bit of a day off today. I did book it off last week. Well, it wasn't. There was a rearrangement in the work schedule, so I booked it off last week to go and help a lovely guy called Steve, who was one of my subs, who's helped me out quite a lot with my pond. Lives in Pontypridd, which is about an hour away, but he's done you know, 2 or 3 round trips to me to drop off bits and bobs, give me all that lovely flagstone paving and all that kind of stuff. So I felt like I owed something back to him. So I'm on my way up to help him plumb in and pipe up his EZ pond. He's got a 2,000 gallon pond, and it's absolutely fantastic. I actually seen it, and I showed you guys down the Southeast Junior Koi show a couple of weeks ago. I'm currently in a traffic jam here, so thought I'd do a little intro. And yeah, just went to Starbucks to pick up my fluid and my lunch for the day. And pulled off from the drive-through, massive crash and a bang, and then my tailgate fell down on the back of this, and 2 boxes of pipe fittings came down. So quite embarrassingly, I jumped out and picked up all the pipe fittings again off the floor. I looked like a ball boy in Wimbledon on crack, but I done it pretty quick. The old boy still got it. Anyway, it takes a little bit longer now to bend over my gunt, but it's all paid for. Might go to the gym soon. I need to lose some of that. My Whippet's losing weight, by the way. She's on a diet, so maybe your dad should go on one as well. But anyway, guys, when we get up there, I'll show you around. He's done a lovely concrete base, situated everything ready for me to come up. Now, I'm no expert, but I know a little bit more than him. So between the both of us, we're going to do a nice job on this pipe work. So he's got a skimmer, he's got 2 bottom drains, and like I said, mate, those EZ ponds are absolutely fantastic. Like, literally, you know, the pond's almost the same volume as mine, and it's just plug and play. Yeah, they are really good. The finish inside is way higher than any kind of fiberglassing could be, because obviously it's done in a mold. The guys who makes it actually were in the boat building industry, so you can imagine the inside of the pond is literally the same quality to the outside of a boat. It's banging, fair dues. And it's waffled with insulation as well, so you don't have to insulate it if you don't want to. I am going to suggest, though, when he builds the walls up around it, that he just does plug a load more insulation in there. Even just sort of like some rock wool, I think will be well worth it. I definitely would, do you know what I mean, for the price of it. But anyway, yeah, the sun's out, so it's a lovely day to go up there and do it. He's got everything he needs. He's actually running he's bought a lovely second-hand momotaro bakki shower on my advice. He found that at a steal. He's got, I think he's got 60 or 80 kilos of bakki house media ready to go. He's got all the pipe fittings, all the bends, all the pipe work. He's also going to run a compact M oase drum, so I'm no stranger to those. Be interesting to see how his runs, actually. But those modifications on mine are working very well. The only thing I am going to do is drop the main drain down onto one of the bottom inlets, which I think obviously is one of the main causes. I think the top inlet is actually, realistically thinking about it, probably for the skimmer, and that's why I'm getting a lot of poo build up in that corner, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so we'll go from there. The treatment on my fish has been going really well. Currently, I'm not going to talk too much about that. I'll talk about that in my next video. But currently, they're 1 day into they're the second day into their fluke treatment, before their PP mucus stripping debut with the yeah. Anyway, we'll talk more about that later on. Yeah, what else have we got to say? Yeah, he's got a lovely little setup there. It's in a lovely, reasonably rural area, and yeah, it's going to be really nice. So anyway, I'll get back to you when we're up there. Just about to get onto the old M4 once this traffic is gone. Bloody traffic, innit? People like me going to plumb people's ponds, in it is. Talking about traffic and talking about driving, I filled my truck up yesterday from empty, 140 quid. Wow, like that is insane, but it's the way of the world, isn't it? Cheers, Putin. Right, so here we are, guys. I've been up Steve's now for a little hour. We've had a chin wag, but he's got one of these EZ ponds. It's 2,000 gallons. He's put the base down to the right height he wants it in. He's going to king span all around these gaps before he actually blocks this all in. So it's going to look like a custom made pond. It's got 2 returns in there, which I said wasn't ideal. They should be, those 2 returns should be on one of the long runs, but it is what it is. It's going to work. 2 bottom drains. He's got a return there and a skimmer. Again, can't quite understand why they've put the skimmer, the return going into the skimmer there. However, it is what it is. If there's a problem, we can definitely move that somewhere else, but ideally they should have thought about that. But anyway, 4-inch oase skimmer, nice. Coming down here, in fact we've got all the pipe work here, and if you just come in there's some of his quarantine stuff. Let me just turn this down, and then he's got all his bakki shower stuff, all of his pipe work. We've taken a lot of the pipe work already. Quite a lot of the stuff that we need, all the pumps, all the air pumps. This is quite neat. I'm going to try to get Steve to get me one of these. It's a little overflow thing, but it looks really neat. I like that. And what Steve's got is a compact M. So here we go, down here. Lovely little setting here, nice field over there. So he's got a compact M here, which is on the small side, but that's why he's got the compromise was, I said you either want to upgrade to the L, which is double this size, well, more than double this size, or get yourself a bakki shower. So he's found that momotaro bakki shower second hand for peanut, about 400 quid, the same as mine, I think. So the bakki shower is going to be probably pulling from the skimmer here. It's going to be sitting here somewhere, and it's going to just go straight back into the return. I did say, worst case scenario, if you do have any problems, we can fit a Tempest on that, and that would be a nice pre-filter. But this drum is not got the facility to take the skimmer in as well. So what we're doing here is we've set up the basic height here, which corresponds to the pond, and this is going to be going down here with the heat pump probably here or down this wall, but we'll get back to that. We've got a lovely little brook down there for waste, or a drain down the bottom. We'll see what's going to happen. Yeah, I tell you what come with Steve's pond as well, and I think it's pretty Gucci, is this. I've never come across it again, but I'm pretty new at this. It's a little overflow. How neat is that? So yeah, this will be integrated into that. We'll have to have a little look. I'll bring it down now and have a look actually, but I really like that. That's really neat, isn't it? So that will obviously live by your Big Blue or something like that. You got a Big Blue, haven't you?
Big Blue's in the garage, yeah.
Yeah, Big Blue's ready to go. So yeah, lovely jubbly. Oh. How long's the fish been in there, Steve? 2 or 3 weeks would be right, wouldn't it?
Yeah, take a minute. We'll get it.
Oh, right then, boys. We've been here literally all day from, was it, Steve, 9 o'clock?
10 to 9.
10 to 9. What time is it now?
5 to 9.
5 to 9. So we've been here all day. It seems like it's taken an age, but I'll tell you now, pipe work does take an age to do right. So this is what we've come up with, guys. I'm trying to make this nice and neat for Steve, and I'll explain what we've done. So we've got 2 bottom drains. That bottom drain there is coming across here and is going to the opposite side of the feed. It's just the way that this is worked out. That bottom drain there is coming straight out. Because we didn't have to eliminate a bend, it comes straight through up. So that's on line with that one drain. So then what we've got here is, this is my design. Whether it be right or wrong, I don't know, but I'm sure it's going to work like a treat. And it looks like a jet engine. So what we've got is, we have got the 4-inch lines coming in, 4-inch ball valves to isolate this drum if we need to. But we've got, I put a T on here with 2 purge lines. Bosh, bosh. Right, everyone doesn't like slide valves. Yes, they may leak every now and again, but who cares, because that's going straight to waste. So in years to come, if it does leak, it's going to act as a natural overflow, not an issue. What we're going to do from there is, Steve needs to get some more fittings. So that's going to be the purge line, which is going to run straight across through that wall. The same with this purge line. It's going to run straight across through the wall. This purge line for the drum is going to drop straight into this line because it's bang on line. So that'll both go into the purge line. We've got this echo drain that's going to be situated there. The drum waste is going to be reduced to a 3-inch, and the 3-inch will clear between these 2 ball valves. He's going to make a little hole there and put a 90 degrees so the water will go through there, and it's going to also make a hole through the wall at the back. Next thing Steve's going to do is shutter this up here, okay, and he is going to set the bottom blocks on each side perfectly level, exactly where they need to be for this drum to be in situ, because these are all glued in now. Just need to take off these rubber boots and the rubber boot at the back, which I'll show you in a minute, and he can get these in, the 2 bottom ones, so they're bang on flush and even. And then he's going to pour a slab in here, so basically it comes to the height of these two blocks underneath these T's. So these T's are absolutely solidly fitted to those, and it will go just above this level here. You'll have a slight incline into the echo drain, so if anything floods in here, it's going to go straight into that echo drain. Lovely jubbly. At the back here, so as you can see, there's quite a big drop down here. He's got a little natural, I don't know, soak away down there anyway. But what we'll have at the back then, obviously, is you'll have the 2 big 4-inch purge drains coming out, and a 3-inch echo drain that's attached to the drum cleaning mechanism. They'll have 90s on there, go into a 45, and then collectively going together and going straight down to the bottom, and then going into the drain. He's got the soak away down there. Also, what we've got, we've had to work with the area we've got, basically. So what we've got here is a 20,000 vary pump, which is situated on a reducer from 4-inch to 2-inch, and it's just basically, you know, like a compression joint there with that. We've got a coupling at the bottom with a couple of 90s, and it comes across to an isolation system. Now ideally we would have another 2-inch valve here, okay, which we didn't have, but we could possibly have. But Steve's got something else in mind, which I've suggested that he likes the idea of. But what we got here is then as well is we've got this system here then. So these eventually are going to have solvent weld reducers on, okay. These are just put here temporarily to hold these in place. So these are going to go to the air source heat pump. He's got a crystal air source heat pump. I think it's a 12.5. Is it a 12.5 kilowatt you've got?
What's that, sorry?
Is it a 12.5 kilowatt, the heat pump?
10 kilowatt.
Okay, so it's a 10 kilowatt heat pump, and these are going to come off, you know, cold water in, hot water out. So what we do with this is, because these get reduced down to 1.5 inches, and the whole system's on a 2-inch, so we don't want to put too much back pressure on that pump. So what we do is we're going to half close this and fully open these. Okay, so naturally what will happen is, because this has got a bit of a, you know, bit of a backlog on this because it's half closed, it'll force at least half the water up there, but we can regulate that. So half of the water then will go through the heat pump, making sure there's enough water in there to trigger the flow sensor, and then half of it then will be bypassed, which will go straight through, and that can be played around with. So that's a system that can be played around with. We are going to put another ball valve this side. No, we're not going to put ball valves that side. I did want to put one before the pump, but we haven't got the space for it. And at the end of the day, if something happens with his pump and he needs to change it, well, that's fine. All he's got to do is isolate these two, and the system, this can just, and isolate those. This can empty and he can do that. He's going to lose 15 gallons of water or whatever. It's nothing. So that's the best thing to do with that. So it comes across, he's got a 55 UV sterilizer. For those of you going, you can't change the bulb. You can, they're on rubber boots. You just undo those there. The whole thing comes out and you can change the boots. You can change the bulbs. So in his pond, he's got 2 inlets over there. These are the 2 inlets. So we've got the T here, which splits, and we can alter the flow with the 2-inch ball valves. I think that's all we've got to talk about on this system at the moment. What we have got to do next time I come up, now they've supplied a 4-inch valve for the skimmer. We've got an oase, one of these, an oase like floating skimmers on this system. Curiously, they've put a 1.5 inch inlet there, which that's going to be capped off on the other side, and it's not going to be used for the moment because it's pushing straight in front of this 4-inch pipe anyway. So I'm not quite sure what they were thinking there, but anyway, not the end of the world. We'll block that off. We've got another vary pump to go on here. We're going to do a reducer on this to 2-inch. The vary pump is going to sit here on a column that Steve's going to build for me to come down next time, so it's totally rigid and it's not going to go anywhere. Then we're going to put some clips on these here. We've got the 2-inch pipe to go across with a ball valve to isolate, you know, whatever we've got to do on this side. And then it's going to go straight up, and he's got the momotaro bakki shower, which he's got to build 2 columns on the slab, which will sit just here, so he can put the bakki shower on this side. Oh, lovely. And then he's got the returns there, so the bakki shower is going to sit up here in front of this window. Not the end of the world, but that's the best place to put it, because obviously skimmer's collecting from there, bakki shower's falling in here, flow is coming this way. So we've got 2 inlets there, which is a bit of a strange area, but it's still going to create quite a lot of flow. And at the end of the day, if we do need to, then we can put another, we can still drill another one and put another one here, but I don't think we're going to need to be honest. Yeah, 2,000 gallons, easy pond. And this one's got a secret message. It's got the Koi Soldier sticker in there, because I seen this exact pond in the Southeast Junior Koi Show. So that's going to be capped off there. What else were we talking about, Steve? I think that's it, isn't it? I think that's it. So we've done as much as we can today, and we've still got the air lines to go in as well. Obviously we've got the 1-inch air lines, which comes on the right hand, well, on the left hand side as we're looking at it, each bottom drain. They're going to come across. Steve's also going to build another block column which will come here, so it'll be flush there, so we can put the two, he can put the 2 air pumps on there, so it looks nice. And he's got the small little caps and the regulators to put those on. That's lovely. And then he'll probably pipe the air across to go into the drum out the way. What he is thinking about doing as well, and what I've actually suggested, is getting one of those, what litre are those bins?
240 litres.
So you can get a 240 litre kind of wheelie bin, and we're going to put it in the corner there, and he's going to put some more K1. And what he's going to do is he's going to get the part numbers from oase for these, 2 of these, and a longer one of these perforated tubes. So it'll basically tap into the drum, go through the tube, come out the other side, obviously with an air stone, and that will be a load more K1 than is in there. Do you know what I mean? We did talk about this system, didn't we? And I said to Steve, what you could definitely do is upgrade this to a compact L, like what I've got, because it'll be probably a lot better filtration for the pond. or the other compromise was to find a bakki shower, which will also be a good form of, you know, I think the price difference was about the equivalent, wasn't it, to get all the bakki house media and the bakki shower that you got second hand would have been the same price as upgrading to a compact L, wouldn't it? So, you know, he's got the main thing is he's got the mechanical system here for the bottom drains. Yes, this only pulls 15,000 litres an hour. So we've got 7,500 litres going through each drain, which isn't ideal because I think you need more like about 12 to 15,000 in each drain. But we've combated that with a great purge system. So once a week, mate, boom, 10-second purge. And these purges are so low, they're almost literally at drain height. That'll just hoof out of there, right? So that's going to be fine. And I think it'll turn over the volume of this pond once every hour and a half, 2 hours, which is going to be absolutely fine. Do you know what I mean? That's a quite nice retention time on the media that's going to be in here, and fantastic retention time for that in there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, he's got a few more bits and bobs to buy, and you got a little bit of work to do, Steve.
Yes, just a little bit.
So I'm actually giving Steve a couple of my koi as well. And he's got some nice koi to go in there already, to be honest. Yes, this pond's a little bit overstocked, but it's a nice little Airbnb for a minute. You know? Where's the quackers from? They're from Quinny, aren't they?
One's from Queen Koi,
Yeah.
the other one's A-class koi.
A-class koi. So he's got a nice little collection in there. He's got a lovely tancho as well. That's going to be a superstar when it grows. And yeah, so absolutely fantastic. Look at that. It looks like a brand new bakki shower. It come with all the pipework as well. And someone actually made up. The guy that you bought this off actually used to make them licensed for Momotaro. So that's amazing. He spent some money on some bakki house shower, boy. You've got the Blue Lab Guardian, which I think are class, to be honest. I love mine. It's a real piece of mind. You know, when you walk in and you can see it, and you've got another one.
Yeah.
Hey, boy, he's got two. You've done me. And he's got some air pumps, which is more than sufficient than what he wants. Possibly, you might want to upgrade that if you get the bigger moving beds.
We've got the 70 there.
Oh, he's got the 70. Yeah, that would be good. You get that 70, will run the two. And then, yeah, obviously we've got the spin drifters here, ready to go on. We didn't quite have time to put these on today, but Rome was not built in a day. Vary pumps, good. And you've got that one there, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that pump is, but I think it's pretty good. If anything, I said to... what pump have you got running on the Easy Pod?
Pump 20,000.
A 20,000, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
The Vary pump, the
Yeah.
Evolution.
So you got a 20,000 on this one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, down there. Do you know what I would do, because I'm anal? I'd swap that pump for there and have just because they match, you know me. And then, yeah, he's got a little Easy Pod in here. That runs that there. So, lovely. Yeah, fantastic. Right, so there we are. I'm off now. We've just had a discussion about what's going on here. So the air pumps are going to be there. I told Steve to get some, what's that pipe called? Or the blue water pipe anyway. So we're going to run some water pipe underneath the slab that comes up there. So obviously we've got the air line for the moving bed there. So we can have the air line tacked nice down there. And then we can push it through the 25mm water pipe underneath the slab. And it'll come out there and it'll go straight into the thing. So that's something else that is nice and neat. That's going to go there. We're going to turn the UV upside down so it comes this way. Because what Steve's going to do now is grind those out. That's his floor level inside. So by the time that UV is underneath there, he can put one step by there, a wooden step by there. The UV will be underneath the wooden step. And then straight onto the new slab. So that's going to be really nice. So anyway, I've had enough now. I got to go home because I got a wife and a child. She's going to think I'm cheating, I think. And still haven't got a clue how this... Well, we got a good idea how this works. But we're going to get onto Easy Pond just to make sure that is actually pucker how we're going to get it to work. And we've realised that obviously is going to be for that auto top-up. yeah, it took us 2 solid blokes to work that out right at the end of the day. But yeah, there we are. So that's not an outlet. That's kind of an inlet for that, we believe. But famous last words. Anyway, guys, I'm off. We'll do a little I can't remember what it's called, but a little end of video speech in a minute when Steve's not around, because I'm going to slag him off. Oh, guys. Oh, yes. My hair actually looks cool. A good hair day for once. So anyway, guys, deserved a glass of champagne. Right, so finally back. That was a 12-hour shift. Hour to get up there, bit of traffic, as you've seen earlier on. 10-hour shift up there and an hour to get back. So yeah, so what we've done today is we've completed pretty much all the 4-inch bottom lines. The 2 drains, obviously, going into the oase Compact M. We've done the purge lines. Now, that's my design for the purge lines. Yes, they're sliding valves. Some people love them, some people hate them. I just think that they're very simple to use. It's nothing to do with price. It's just I can't see the benefit of having a big 4-inch ball valve on each side. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't look as neat. It's just not as user-friendly. It's just nice, and like I said, yes, they might leak, but you know, the amount they leak, it doesn't make a difference. It's going to waste. You're going to have an overflow, so it really doesn't make a difference at all. And in the case of a massive catastrophic like problem, then they can just come out. It's not the end of the world. It's a pond at the end of the day. It's not a Concorde, is it? Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't like to be in one of those glide into the ground if one of the jets go. But anyway, so yeah, so that's all done. The 4-inch lines, the purge, the 4-inch ball valves straight into the drum. We are a little bit worried about the flow on that. We did talk about it. Steve come down to visit me to talk about his pond build. I'm by no means an expert. I've built a couple of ponds. But like I said, I'm definitely not Tim Waddington. Do you know what I mean? So I'm a little bit concerned about the Compact M we've got, and we did talk about him upgrading to the Compact L, which obviously holds a load more media. It's got a slightly bigger drum, but I don't think Steve's going to be massively stocked. In fact, I'm going to persuade him not to get a lot of stock like me. It's just hassle. I'm going to make sure he gets quality fish and just happy with the little jewels he's got there and bring them on. I think that's definitely the way ahead. But you can get totally drawn in to buying fish hand over fist, because you go to Quinny Koi, you go to Absolute, Exclusively Koi, Water Barn, and you just see these swimming pieces of art, and it's just hard not to. It's just so hard not to just like put your hand in your pocket. So what you really got to do is hold back and literally just buy the best you can. You know what I mean? And just enjoy those growing. Do you know what I mean? That's my one advice. To that end of the things, the oase M has got I think a maximum flow rate of 15,000 litres. 15,000 litres an hour. He's put a Vary 20,000 on there, so I would have thought by the time we've got, you know, like all the pipe work lagging and the bends and all that kind of stuff, he could probably run that 20,000 flat out and achieve that 15,000 litres per hour, because I would have said you're going to lose at least 5,000 litres an hour on the on the pull through all the pipe work. The heater obviously is going to get bracketed on the wall before I get down there next, and also the slab is going to be poured level to sink that eco drain in with a nice curve on it, so when he washes the filter house out, it all goes down to the drain and all comes out the back. The 2 purge lines will come down through the wall with the eco drain. That looked rude. With the eco drain, and then on the back end of the wall, then it's going to come down into a V, hit the same 4-inch and down, and then this one then will be hole sawed through, and we'll insert that one into the Y, and then that will go straight down the wall and straight into the waste. So that's a really good system, I think. Again, every pond is unique. It's all got its restrictions, you know, the gradient of the floors, using an existing building for your pump house, you know, everything is like literally pulls you from all different directions, and you've got to make what works for the best in your little situation. Now, the one compromise we did do is, if you've noticed, on the back of the M, we haven't got a ball valve. It goes straight into the 20,000 vary pump, and then it comes down, and it's got a ball valve, an isolation ball valve for the heater and the actual main system, so we can shut off the system behind that ball valve and in front of the drum. So worst case scenario, if he ever needs to do maintenance or change that 20,000 EA vary pump, then close the 2 valves on the front, close the 3 valves on the back to isolate the heater and the actual main feed through to the UV in the pond. And the most he's going to lose is what, 25 gallons of water that's sitting just above the actual outlet in the drum. Well, I don't think that's much of a compromise. I just like, I don't even think it's worth 25 quid for the ball valve to be sitting there, to be honest. It's just not used. What else? So yeah, so we've got 15,000 litres pulling from a 2,000 gallon pond. So 2,000 gallon is about, is it about 8,000 litres or something like that? I can't remember, but the pump should turn the pond over, what's it, something every 2 hours, something like that, which is exactly what Koi Wholesale's doing, Ricky up there. So, you know, you're going to have nice retention time actually in the moving bed. The drum is quite little, depending on how much he's feeding and what stock he's got. That drum is going to be going quite a lot. I've got a funny feeling in the future he might well upgrade to the compact M, and that's not a problem. We've actually worked that out, that where his drum is now, we can actually, if the back of the drum is exactly where it is, you've got enough room to put the compact M in front of the pond, exactly where it's situated now. All you'll have to do is build a little bit more of a platform to hold the drum, which is easy enough, and then just the 2 pipes coming in, those will be cut and then, you know, just like shortened, so it will fit in there. So that's a possibility. Like I said, you know, the 4-inch drains ideally have got 12,500, 15,000 litres each 4.5 drain to keep those clear. So we were aware of that. So what we've done is put 2 very simple purges to use. So once a week, do you know what I mean? 10 you know, 5-10 seconds purge from each drain. They're just gonna pull so much, and that'll keep those drains clear. He's getting a bakki shower on there. He's got a lot of bakki house media, which cost him an arm and a leg. I've actually persuaded him to possibly upgrade to a 30,000 pump. Now, that's going to give him a lot of biological benefit there, and gassing off of all the nitrogen. So that's really good. So the next time I go up, hopefully the base will be in, all the little modifications and the little bits of block work he's got to do, so we can situate the bakki shower, plumb that in, do the air lines. Like I said, we're going to put like a small air line in the slab, so it's all nice and neat, and it's all subsurface, and you haven't got any, you know, like little air lines running around. Yeah, so I think, you know, it certainly takes a long time to do pipe work, you know, diligently. I suppose you can just chuck it together, but just love things being horizontal and vertical and the right gaps between each things and all that kind of stuff. So little bit upset that we had to use one connector to join 2 pieces of off-cut 4-inch pipe, because Steve actually did go down to the local supply. He's very lucky, about 15 minutes away. He's got like a supersonic little supplier of all that pressure pipe, but they only sold 6-meter lengths, and he couldn't justify buying a 6-meter length for 64 centimeters of pipe. So yeah, the compromise was the join in the middle. So that's not the end of the world. We've got that funky little box for the overflow and the automatic top up, which I think is really good. So that's going to minimize the trickle and trickle out system. Again, try to keep the water in the pond and maintain that small ecosystem as best you can, because the stuff that comes out the tap, no matter where you are, is not really, you know, you're basically, in hindsight, poisoning your fish. You mean just the little amount of tap water that we introduce into the ponds, better is for the better. Again, obviously he's got all his big blue ready to go in there. He's got to put the water source to go in there, but we've talked about that. He's going to do that on his own. Yeah, so I'm sure it's going to be a lovely little pond when it's up and running. Should be able to finish that and finish all the pipe work and stuff like that, and get that up and running just before the national, which is great news for me, because I've got about 2 or 3 fish in here which he's having. So I'm going to give him to Steve because he's a nice guy. And hopefully with the treatment I've given these fish, it's going to be parasite free. He wants to try to do it as quick as he can, to be honest, but I told him don't rush. I said you can't rush this stuff. I said just do all the bits that you need doing. I'll come up again, invest another day of my life for you, and I will get everything plumbed in properly. So the next time I go up, we should be able to put water in and get everything up and running. The only thing that's not going to be done, obviously, is the cladding and all the titivation to make it his. He has got big plans for this thing. It's going to have like a proper roof on it, bifolding doors. So it's going to be in its own room. So he's going to have a seating area inside, almost like an orangery, I guess. Do you know what I mean? So he's going to chuck some money at it. He certainly, you know, intends to do a nice job. Excuse me. You know, and I commend him for that. I salute him. Awesome. So if anybody else has got a couple of questions about pond bills, like I said, I'm not an expert, but I know a load of experts on WhatsApp, and I can text them. But anyway, comment below, tell me what you think, and what we do intend doing as well is I persuaded him. When we get up to the national, we're going to talk about we'll talk to the oase reps, and we're going to get some part numbers by 2 of the inlets and one of those like perforated sort of like cylinders, so we can make, well, he can make a moving bed out of one of those black drums. I've seen other YouTubers use it, but I actually thought about it as well before I even seen these things. So obviously, great minds think alike. It's made for the job, and we've worked out that where his slab height is going to be to the top of his pond is absolutely centimetre perfect for one of those to be a great moving bed. And you know, like, you know, 100 litres in there bubbling away, it's going to cost him nothing at all on the old energy bills. It's just going to be an extra little, like a little feed off one of his air pumps. And yeah, Bob's your uncle. Loads more biological filtration. The only thing I'm worried about is how small that drum is, but at the end of the day, it is where it is. The drum's going to work. It's just going to clean a few more times, isn't it? So yeah, anyway, I cut my finger as well. Not bad, but it just wouldn't stop bleeding, and I thought it's not very hygienic. So anyway, let's take that off. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little video. I've certainly enjoyed going up there, cutting pipes and gluing them. Yeah, something about the smell of solvents, isn't there? Anyway, be safe, happy Wednesday, and what a fantastic day. Hope you like this. Comment below what you think of Stevie's pond. It's going to be cracking, isn't it? Yeah. Cheers.